What is this? What is this? What is this? No one knows except the blue collar truck of logic, the common sense of our time, carrying some lit light bulb on the back of your truck, hauling it just wherever you go, even though there's no driver in it and there's apparently it's just circled by some line. And it's blue, but it's orange. Amazing. It's a red truck, the fire truck that's somehow a little rusted. So it's just, I looked, the detail of the beat up tire. Wow, amazing. The detail to the beat up tires, but the body is relentlessly just shining. Shinier than the bash bulb that's just heating and cooking the color off of some blue notion of logic. Wow.
I've been accused of white male privilege about 1,000 times since I started debating people online.
Oh, about 1,000 times since he started the battle on online debate. Right? Where you just bash about nothing. It's just shoving. Debates are just shovings. You're just relentlessly shoving. You're just moshing. You guys are all just moshing, thinking you're so civil. Bashed. My white male privilege, the truth of it in 13 minutes. 12 minutes and 58 seconds to be precise there, Bash. But I thought you were the logic one. But now you're making roundups and estimates. So how certain is that? Doesn't seem like logic to me.
This really is an accusation. I am supposed to respond with a shamed apology. You see, based on two of my immutable
You
characteristics,
see, I'm reading off a card, and therefore it's hard for me to just keep pace and try to keep looking at the camera. Am I supposed to look at the little lens that is filming me? Look relentlessly into that thing and then just parrot whatever it is that you're supposed to, right? But no, I have to read there, down, this, and that, and this, and that, and that, and apologize shamefully, right? And he's like, well, here's the thing. You see, my twang, and this thing will pop me with, you don't know, might be that I do, who knows, right?
I am assumed to live a life free of struggle, where
Really?
blessings flow toward me regardless of
No, that's the image that you're bashing and repeating, so people just say, oh, you mean that privilege? Okay. So you have that privilege? And he's going to say, of course not. Or are you? Because this bash, look, of course, he's the he's the driver. He parked his truck right here, and he climbed out, and he's like, "Hey guys, I'm here now. Now you see, I want to go ahead and pick that light bulb, and then squeaky, 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 squeak it on my head, and then I'll just give me a few seconds. I'll be right back." He goes and he comes back, and now he's smashing.
whether or not I deserve them. In fact, even if I do deserve them, I still don't deserve them. Because I'm a male Caucasian,
Oh, so even if he says, even if I deserve it because of my boast and my labors and my efforts and my story, my background, I don't deserve it just because I'm white.
and my supposed privilege is derived from the historic oppression of less fortunate people. So let's take a look. The following is my privileged
And of course, the less fortunate people to that narrative means people of color, colored people, but all the shades and gradients possible. Anyone who's not white is somehow a minority. Or at least now they say, well, at least we were. Now we're becoming the majority, and it's the bit of relentless bash comics out there, and they're saying, "Watch out, Whitey, we're coming for you." You know, all this bash oppression you've done to us, well, we're gonna do back to you. So yeah, just bashing you with the mallet of divine conquer, pegging each other so you kill each other. Wow, you're killing each other. Who knew? And this is your call to for you've been rallying up the forces since the civil rights movements and this just pitting people against the other, pitting people against the other. Of course, building on the strife of the wedge that already existed. the destruction of the family had already begun post World War II. Who knew all the men had just bashed, gone, died, and now the left, supposed men that were left, who somehow had to come out? No, it was already in plan. So the new solution came about, and now it was a new era. Well, apparently now you could just fight for whatever Bash cause you wanted, and then say that, well, of course it's an inherent right, of course it's in the Constitution, and of course it's in the Golden Rule, and this, and it's natural law, right? Wow, no, you believe in the natural philosophies, because it's truly the counterfeit falsity that you believe, the narrative of Bash evolution, and who knew that in the actual Luciferian Satanist worship doctrine of Bash, whatever the principles, right? The tenets, self-preservation, right? Darwinism, right? The belief in evolution, of course. And that, of course, you get to decide who lives and dies, because you are the gods on earth. You truly are the dishers of some Bash, justice. That's relative here, relative there, relative everywhere. Where's the cop? Where's the priest? Who knows? Where's the criminal? Here. Now he was there. Now he served time. Now he's back in society. No, he did again. Go in and out, in, out, in, out, in, out. And that goes for all sectors of the Bash, relentless multiples of swarm walks of life that you think you're all living different, unique, little separate lives. No, same Bashhood. Same Bashhood. Just you think that the work that you do is somewhat different. This guy apparently he identifies as a blue collar because of the type of work that he does. Some of is a white collar, some of Bash flowers and other Bash colors, and this colors, and I'm this rainbow and that rainbow, and you're that rainbow. Well, I want the double rainbow, I want the triple rainbow, and the sorbet around the dookie on top. But somehow it's all logic and reasonable, all led by the wave of the empath that he is. Wow, the relentless empath that just puts his logic on the back of its truck. Right? Because he's probably some Bash washed out hippie that just did nothing. Amazing. All while just now he's complaining about why he's blamed for being white privileged, some Caucasian male. And he's like, well, I'm supposed to apologize, but I won't, and this is why. Right? In probably 13 minutes of his Bash.
Timeline. My life at a glance. Just the bullet points.
Oh, no. He's like, of course I'm supposed to apologize in a shameful way. He's like, so no, I won't do that. But he's going to do it anyway. He's apologizing by his Bash narrative of his life, justifying why he's just as miserable as everyone else. So he's boasting it, like he's like, oh, I'm not going to apologize in a shameful way. I'm going to apologize in a deceitful way, so that somehow I win. Through logic somehow. What a shame.
I was born in the 50s. My father worked as a repairman in a typewriter and adding machine factory, and my mother stayed at home raising us kids. We'd moved around some, but by the time I started remembering my childhood, we lived in...
All of a sudden, people would say, see, you're already at an advantage. You had parents at home. Right? Because, I mean, so many families, quote unquote, out there are single parent families. What is going on? Right? The destruction of the family happened severely in a very just traumatic way, but sold to you as false promise, sold to you as some sort of liberty, sold to you as some sort of innovation of how you're going to engineer your Bash future. Because somehow you just got tired of living. You just wanted, life was so hard, and it's just so hard and hard and hard. And all of a sudden you just needed to create artificial everything. It's like, oh, can we just create an artificial womb? Can we just create artificial sperm? Can we just completely eliminate ourselves out of the equation? It's just so hard. What a shame. What does that even mean? Exactly nothing. But it's what you worship. So who knew that you would actually produce what you worship? Nothing. Exactly. Because you believe in yourself. And what is yourself? Wow, who knew? Yourself as what? Your own little God, your own little savior, and nothing. Wow, who knew? Know thyself, not worship thyself. Know thyself and worship God. Because truly it's not, I mean, what is, of course you have to, the witness is in you. You have the aperture of witness to life. In the flesh, who knew? In self-awareness. So now you're confused. You're like, am I alive? No, what am I doing? You're confused in your own self-awareness, Bash, because your eyes were open to the knowledge of good and evil. Does that mean you're here to synthesize that? No. It means that you have the truth to shelter you from the defilement of the deceit of that knowledge, which surely is death, in the sense that it consumeth you whole. And who knew that the Creator is the only one that can endure that for the living? Who knew? Yet it is a tree. The tree that the Creator truly, well, if the Creator is it's the synthesis, right? It's a synthesis that we are witnessing. What? Because we are in self-awareness, in doubt from the Creator's creation, which was the true promise, life everlasting with the Father on earth. The earth He created for us and us in it. For us to worship with Him, in Him, for Him, and live forever as children of God. Who knew? Who knew forever and ever? Hallelujah. No, but no. Couldn't be, it couldn't be. No. I must be my own God and relentlessly sit down and apologize for why I'm white.
In San Gabriel, California, in a house my parents bought for $18,000. That was about 3 years' salary for my dad.
Oh,
There were 6 and soon 7 of us in a 3-bedroom house. Neither of
he couldn't wait, right? So the suffrage, guys, I suffered so much.
my parents had a college degree. They were scrimping and saving their way toward financial security. My neighborhood was at about the 2/3 line between poor and middle class. We butted up against North San Gabriel, and North San Gabriel bordered on the low-end side of San Marino. That was our version of Beverly Hills. That was where the rich kids lived, San Marino.
Oh, so there's rich white kids and poor white kids. Could it be because it has to do with some past notion of authority and inherent, lineages of authority by name, bloodlines, heritage, this and that, and this and this. It has nothing to do with whether you're white or not, because it's about the name, the blood that's inside of you. Exactly. That's what they worship. Because who knew that they know the true promise? Yet manipulate it, abuse the flesh, convince those to follow their own doctrine of abuse and just defilement, the total renegade, the total rebel against God. Who knew? Who knew? Complete worshippers and followers of Lucifer. Who knew? Who knew that now man is completely under its spell? And has been at least for the last 100 years or even more. But all you need to look is go back into World War One, World War Two. Who knew? Why would people do that if not just being deceived? Why would you go to war? The nations, what, against one little teeny tiny country? The nations went to one little teeny tiny. Oh, because it's their ideology that. So what was the ideology, right? What was behind it all? What was the worship? Oh, he was just an atheist. Or, oh, he was just a Catholic, so he just had some radical bash notion of Catholicism with atheism. What was it? Oh, who knows? But Hitler, right? Godless, right? And you say, oh, even he's in heaven because everybody goes to heaven. It's just about how you learn and and you need to someone just forgive and forgive and forgive and forget and try to learn from your mistakes. Right? So you always have truths, which ultimately make it a total backhand. It's trauma. Because it's the it's the parent that you trusted and all of a sudden they're defiling you, molesting you, or this or that, or hitting you, or yelling at you, or this or that, or just taking out their anger in life on you. Right? So that, I mean, that's of course trauma. Half, I mean, you're just distorted, you're confused. Now, what all of a sudden, what you are just brought into this world, witnessing, right? That which is which embraced you when you came into this earth, fed you, held you, taught you, right? Guided you. All of a sudden, is just bashing you in your self awareness, right? When you can remember these things, because in the womb, that's okay. It's another story. And who knew, right? Who knew it's all connected? Of course it is. Back to the bloodlines. Who knew? So who knew there's a particular, bash memory trauma in bloodlines, in the sense of that's what they believe, that through their bloodlines is inheritance, their authority, or the god, the goddess, the god's blood, and all this stuff of those worthy of inheriting what? Yes, the Luciferian promise of life and authority, honor, control, and power, to live as gods forever. Do your will on earth. Right? And boasting of your legacy. So who knew that lie was believed, and it didn't discriminate whether you were white, yellow, black, whatever bash color. Who knew? For whoever just believed it, was consumed by it, murmured by it, enamored by it, wow, became consumed and a worker of that, did its bidding. And all of a sudden now, all these individual bashes of all sorts of colors are doing the confusion. They're out there doing the rallying up the forces and this and that and this and this and that and this and this and that, and all you're just killing each other, whether in blood or in name only. It's just relentless, the bears. No, but no, it's Groundhog Day. For there truly nothing is renewed. Nothing is renewed in you, for you keep on just bashing in your own self pity, your victimhood, victim. Oh, poor me, oh. Or I'm not doing enough. I have to go out there and boast more about how much more action we need to pump, and we need more funding and this, and come on, people, more money, cough up your money and just help change the world. Just throw money at it. Come on. Right. Bashed. Trolled. I mean, at this point, look, this guy reminds me of the fact Bash, this blue collar, this is truly like a sci-fi. Look, whoever saw a lit light bulb, this is an orb. Who knew that this is he made contact. He's made contact with the enlightened beings, and now it's lit up. Look, it's lit up. It's not even plugged in or anything. It's lit up. So he's brought it to you, and now he's waiting for you, and he's gonna go back on his truck soon and bring it out, and then he'll reveal to you what role this guy is really playing, because he just has made contact. All right, and this is what it is. You couldn't wait. You guessed it, right? Just a little swivel, little beard here, a little beard there. Amazing. Same dude. Same person. Actor. Same, I mean, it's just the method acting, relentless method actors out there. Wow, who knew?
Moreno. Our house was about a mile from the least prestigious end of that shady hamlet. I was aware of what privilege meant very early on.
Oh yeah. So this guy apparently knows what privilege is. I knew what it was. I knew what rich kids were, and I wasn't one of them. So I just became abused that way and I grew up believing in all that bash.
Kids with brand new Schwinn Stingray bikes and clothes nobody had worn before, those kids had privilege. I wasn't one of them.
Oh, he could have waited, both.
My first encounters with minority kids were with the children of Mexican immigrants.
Oh, so he was a rich kid, but he certainly wasn't a minority. He was just a bash white trailer park nothing, right? Was that what you were? Or you just in a shitty middle class bash, two-third of whatever bash that you said earlier? Who gives a bash? But now you're talking about, Mexican and Hispanics, the minorities.
The worst of these kids roamed the streets in packs, and I lived in constant
packs.
fear of them. Because I was a white kid, I was assumed to have cash on me. I rarely did because us kids didn't get an allowance. But still, on a regular basis, 5 or 6 Chicano kids would slap me around, empty my pockets, and throw me into whatever shrubs.
So he couldn't wait to just boast about how he was bullied. But he couldn't wait to slap him with terms like Chicanos and this and that. So who knew that bullying is a mechanism of unleashing a fury of your own suppressed anger, right? Because of abuse. So who knew? But somebody that bullies is because they just have to unleash on somebody, make somebody feel less than what they feel, and then call it funny or comedy or somehow just sarcasm or bash. Right? Whatever. Just bitter person, right? Bullying. And who knew that children are turned bitter at an early age, right? And it never stops from there. So this guy said he was bullied, but okay, Chicanos, amazing.
Were handy. This most often happened on the way to the local swimming pool. I can still smell the dusty oleander and feel the prickly leaves against my skin as I struggled out of that nasty overgrown hedge, just a block from where my dad was working to earn the quarter I'd just been relieved of. I remember walking home with tears of anger and humiliation on my face, knowing that I would miss all the fun that day, because I had once again paid my white privilege toll. The siege
So he paid his white privilege toll. So now he's going to flip it and say, white privilege just means we're the ones that finance and make things great. Right? Or just give you the money that you just begged for and we give it to you.
Continued until high school, where it ended in a minute. Freshman year, boys' locker room, small chubby kid being pushed around by a group of Hispanic kids. Suddenly, Orlando Brenes, the godlike star of the San Gabriel High School soccer team, stepped around the corner and everybody froze. He said, "Hey, Dave's my friend. You mess with him, you deal with me." This was addressed to everybody in earshot, and apparently
some other guy came up and stuck up. So, wow, somebody stuck up for another person? Wow, amazing. So other people didn't stick up for you, even though your father was a block away. You were being mugged and just beat on the ground. Wow, what are you saying? So and you're like, oh, I worship you. No, I am your friend. And the guy's like, okay, now sucky. Pay up. So he pushed up the other bullies so that he could get the whole cut instead of them having to split a bit. between all of them. He's like, oh, now give me what you're gonna give them. Oh no, 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 that's not what happened.
Had the power of biblical law. From that moment on, the supposed white privilege that actually made me a target
Biblical law. Wow.
was canceled out and replaced by another more functional sort of privilege. I was now connected. I was now
Connected.
protected by the patronage of a minority kid who had earned his authority. Within the next couple of years, I grew a little bit. I somehow learned how to be entertaining and funny, and I started hanging out with a group of kids from mostly broken homes called the Vista Village Gang. I discovered the liberating power of alcohol as well, and landed a
Oh,
girlfriend
right.
who was not only a year older than me, but lived right at the edge of San Marino. Compared to me, she was almost infinitely popular. Her friends grudgingly accepted me. I had her group on some days and my VVG bros on the other days. I
My
lost
VD, my venereal disease buddies, my drinking buddies. So now he's boasting, right? So he's saying, so because of my white privilege of getting robbed and having to relentlessly pay for your leeching services, right, of minorities, blah, blah, blah. Is that what you're going to say? You say, now I'm also supposed to be shamed for my connections and who is attracted to me and this and that and this and that. So it's a backhanded apology in shame because he's coming across as somehow logic, but he's not. He's just boasting in the same bash talking points that this narrative embodies.
some fights after that, but I was never really alone in the world for the rest of high school. So I had gang privilege and girlfriend privilege. I was still kind of miserable, but not in daily peril anymore. I got a job. I worked. I saved my money. I bought a series of beat-up cars and led a standard
Oh, so
working...
he's like, see, I did my own efforts. I worked my ass off, and I did what I had, and I made a living out of it. And somehow that's my privilege.
class teenager's life. The high school I went to wasn't very good, and I was a lousy student. It was the early 70s, and we had cars and open campus and girls with birth control pills. It was all pretty distracting.
Now he's looking straight into the lens because now he's going into full memory. He's like, oh, those were the days of just raw dogging relentlessly and just no babies. It was the lib movement of Libyas. Libyas were just flopping around, just in and out and sideways and in and all ways and just frictions. Amazing. So what's going on, right? And then now you're just getting those laserly removed because your labias are too big. They're just like droopy Dumbo ears. Just deflated, just like this guy's balls. Right, so what's going on? What is going on? He's just boasting.
I squeaked by, but only barely. I graduated with a 1.8 grade point average a year after my girlfriend had gone off to college.
Oh, so she went off to college, she cheated on you, bash, sad old story.
Obviously, I was not headed for university. I only recall one conversation with my parents on that issue.
No, you were headed for this truck.
So, Dave, you want to go to college? Nah, I don't think so. Okay. That was about it. Neither of my older siblings had gone, and I wasn't going either.
So your parents said, oh, you're going to college? And he said, nah. And they're like, okay.
There wasn't any money for that anyway. By way of education, what I really had was what I had been given in Catholic primary school.
Oh.
I had learned to read and write really well.
So now he's going to boast about being like a white, Catholic, apparent believer. Right? What are you saying?
So educationally, I had the privilege of a very strict grade school education, as did the Hispanic kids who made up a good portion of the student body at San Gabriel Mission Grammar School. My own son is in grad school now, thanks to his hard work and the generous scholarships available to him because he is 1/4 Mexican and therefore not white.
Oh, there, nailed it. So all these gradients, right? People of reparations. People, right? This guy's boasting about his white privilege, apparently, or the narrative white privilege, right? And so the complete contrast would be the black, right? White and black. So, what? White people are boasting one thing, and what? Black people are boasting what? Now they're saying what? white and black, white, black, white, black, white, black, black. And then what about all the other what parent shades and blah blah faces, features, this, blah blah blah. No, 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 no. It's just color, just color. Exactly, worship of light. What about the word of God? Right? Apparently, to you, it's the in and out and in and out and it's just shape shifting. Wow, wow, wow. Gods, can you just move beyond color? No, wow. Just murmured by the image, right? Deceived to just pit one another by just apparitions of what you think this guy is, and the wow, wow. Because truly, what it's all about the reverberation of the word of God that is eternal in its creation, and it calleth out relentlessly. So, do you hear it and do you answer it, or do you just bash and just make your relentless outbound calls, hoping for some answer, right? And the minute you get, some attention, you leech onto it, right? And either just unleash your fury to it, or you're like, okay, you're allowed into my circle of jerking. Okay, yeah.
and not privileged. By the end of my high school years, my mother was running a daycare center out of our house and studying for her real estate license. My dad had left the adding machines for an executive job with a nonprofit called Junior Achievement. They'd bought a second house as an income property and were gradually climbing the economic ladder. And now I was out of school and loose in the world. The next segment of my life involved drugs and dealing and smuggling and addiction and all sorts of illegal
Amazing.
madness. I'll skip over that now and cover.
So who knew it was choices, right? Based on ultimately your orientation, your worship. So doesn't it discriminate? Do you think the lie discriminates? Oh, I'm only gonna deceive these people. Who knew that it's a worm that entered and it entered and just transformed all sorts of apparent colors of people to pit them against one another, right? The nations were deceived. The people were deceived. No, no, no. It couldn't be. It couldn't be. For truly, it's God who truly is calling out for his children. For the life that is given is proof of the love unconditional of the Father's creation that has resolved, but yet you deny it and call in your own boast, your own purpose, and that you have some past love that you say you have and all sorts of gradients, and somehow you can dish unconditional love, but only to those that you deem worthy somehow because you're the relentless judge of what is right. Because you can see good and evil. You do have that vision, but you somehow say you're the synthesizer and the judge of it all. No. You're to claim that call and say, yes, I claim my place as a child of God. For the wicked ways of claiming, residency, citizenship to the children of of those who push defilement is the ways of folly, the ways to just defile yourselves into smithereens. And to you, the ways of the world aren't enough to show you that your worship is false. You have no clue. You have zero certainty. All you have certainty is in the bad false hope of whatever cause you think devoting your supposed life for. All while you're abusing life in the flesh. Claiming, righteous, virtuous, whatever purpose to something that you think will work and get you out of the mess that you're continually perpetuating day in, day out, thinking that you're somehow bettering yourself and bettering self-helping and self-wisdom and lightening and sitting down and flying with swimming baby Buddha in nirvana. Amazing. all being hooked by the dollar that just drowns you.
In future videos. Suffice it to say that between the ages of 19 and 28, I usually had drugs that other people my age wanted, and I got some social mileage out of that. I hung out with some rock stars and other interesting types who never would have paid me the time of day if I wasn't likely to lay out some lines of good coke or a few buds of Hawaiian weed.
Right.
I traveled and lived well and was backstage a lot, and that was
So he was a
almost
roadie.
entirely due to the drugs I bought and sold and
A dealer.
shared. I occasionally had sex with women who were way out of my
Occasionally.
league because they
Occasionally, because of the drugs that were around, and they just wanted to suck and block anything out, just get lost in some sense of relentless friction.
were, in effect, making a sort of trade. I was sort of a twisted version of an entrepreneur with an equally twisted form of popularity. And until it all came crashing down on me, I did indeed have a form of privilege. Again, it had nothing to do with either my race or my gender.
Right, so those who just make their way and find a niche in their worship of light and its rewards of defilement, right? And who knew that you can, hide behind the prestige of whatever title of whatever, field or sector or this or that or this or professional career, whatever, bash. But exactly, hide behind some working class, some work that you do. That's what behind your identity that you say you're carving out for yourself, and enterprising this and enterprising that into the bash future that somehow is bashing you. Right, but what about what about the other shades of colors, right? Because all of a sudden, is it just white and black? Is it just the white and black people that have a beef somehow, and then the other ones are just the spectators in the ring? Right? Are we supposed to pick sides? From this gradient lighter, go to the whites, and from this gradient down, go to the blacks. Right? What is going on? Deceived. What is it? Nothing. Just pitting yourself against one another, justifying why you're killing one another. Whether in the flesh or just hacking, just shoving, relentless shoving. You're just shoving one another, going, huh? What are you gonna do about it? Huh? Shove. Huh? Right? Just escalating, hoping one will just throw a first punch so that you can just go savage. Go full savage.
After the crash, I was destroyed emotionally and physically. I crawled on hands and knees back into the blue-collar world. I started painting houses and slowly conquered my fear of labor. I live deep inside the working class now, the lower end of the working class. I passed my days in paint.
I passed all, lifting gyprock and all this, just on my knees the whole time. But before I was so high, and then I crashed down, and I just wanted honest life. Is that what you're saying?
Spattered clothes. People looked through me like I wasn't there. The drugs were gone now, and so were the privileges that went along with them. I had only what I could scrape from the world, like so much blistered paint. If I had any privilege at all in those years, it was very well hidden from me. But I found a good woman who loved me, and we made a couple of children who loved us both, and bit by bit, I turned into a human being at least partially deserving of that love.
Oh, he's like, I finally shapeshifted my way into accepting that I'm deserving of some bash version of love. Exactly. This person is void of certainty. This person believes themselves to be alone and just carving out themselves some love that they will dish out to themselves somehow. By somehow blasting to their higher selves, to their lower selves, joining up their kundalini and just hoping for the best.
My home life was my privilege, just as it was for my black and Hispanic neighbors on Broadland Avenue in Duarte, California. At age 30, I took my rudimentary songwriting skills onto a stage at a local open mic, and I found another source of privilege.
Because everybody will say, oh, yeah, it's white against black, it always has been, right? And everything else is just a mash of the mixes. No, what? So you're going to say, well, through evolution, everybody comes from the out of Africa theory, so we're all, originally some Lucy, inherited, lineage, and somehow it gave birth to both white and blacks. And this and that and this and all the races that we see today. Just by isolation and just the weathering did it to themselves. Just the weathering and sun exposure and just the relentless bass string just glistened them, toasted them just right, and also gave them the different uh skeletal features and bone structure and this and that. Yeah, that too. No, what is going on? What is going on? They don't know because apparently, no, I suffered too.
Over the next 25 years, I got good at holding an audience with a song and some good stage patter. I started and ran a number of musical series, and at some point I realized that I had earned some standing in a large creative community. I now toggled back and forth between two worlds. Monday through Friday, I was the guy with sanding dust stuck to my skin, working and moving around in anonymity. No special
Aw,
treatment there. On the
aw,
weekends, I was the guy with good songs and a decent voice, and gigs
aw,
to offer my fellow performers.
aw.
Privilege of a sort. And I was a dad, which is a straight up service job with a spoonful
Oh, a service job. I'm there to serve.
of king mixed in. So, some
King
minor amount of
mixed in.
special treatment alternating with a major amount of hard, grinding work. Still nothing coming into my white privilege account. I painted houses for black families, Hispanic
So
families.
this whole video is apparently it was bullet points, but wow, you just went and just he was like, well, I'm not gonna apologize in shame, but you doing it anyway.
And of course, white families. None of them ever paid me for work I didn't do. Nobody ever came out and said, oh, don't worry about that prep work. We'll have the black and brown people do that. I never got any white male privilege bonuses. But it is
Right? But who knew there's relentless jokes about it, right? So somehow, oh, it's not the lived experience, right? But somehow there's relentless jokes about it. So what do you believe? You'll say, well, I believe it because I hear it and it's just mean and so therefore it's just mean and this and that. Okay, who knew that it's where do kids learn these jokes and eventually why do adults perpetuate them? What is going on? Right? Or is it the relentless bash, traumatized child that never grew up but now is an adult and is still smashing, still a bully, still thinking he's, getting success and accomplishment and, whatever, accolades upon accolades, awards, recognition. Yes, I made it. And all this, that's surely the promise in the American dream, which is now a global ethos. But what is it? What is it? Because now apparently everybody, believes in the same bash or actually wants to pursue in their own bash relative truth. But somehow, oh, it's that colored person's fault now. That's why we're not moving forward. Or that's why all the sufferings exist because it was all that colored person's doing. Okay, just like World War One, World War Two, all of a sudden it was one nation doing it to the whole world, right? Germany and its ideology, right? So the white person now apparently is still carrying that forward. So what's going on? Did the Third Reich lose the war, or did the ideology live on? Right? Because who knew that in every colored supposed race that there are out there, who knew that every representative, right, of the supposed country of origin and this and that is under the same umbrella of governance, of authority, the global nut grab that they have on what you call life that you're living. So what are you talking about? You can't even travel to all these bash places without either being a refugee or an exile or bash, this or that. You need, you can't even go places, right? So all of a sudden you're still gonna hate on people, even though you can't go to their country. Like what? You can't because you have passport and money. Oh, and they can come here too. No, get rid of all that paper and what now? What? And you go in and they find you and you're illegal. What? Prison. What is going on? What is going on? Surely it's the trafficking of people that's the issue. How people are distributed on the conveyor belts that they're on, supposedly on their own path, but no, it's the wheel within some Bosch mechanized lubed shredder, right? And you're like, oh, I want better shredder position. And the other person's like, well, you think I'm a better position? Well, I had to work tough to get to this position over here. And all this bash, bash, bash. But truly, but this guy's not saying is what the Luciferian, right? Darwinist belief of the Satanists, right? Self-preservation of the purists. They believe to be they're the enlightened ones. So they believe that they're doing the will to get you on board to fully boast in the worship of the light. But by doing that, right, by worshiping all the idols that smash you with that imagery, and they come in all shapes and sizes and colors and bash, bash, bash. But suddenly you're still in the bash prison, in the captivity of some bash, color against some color. It's the war of the colors. Right? So get with your color and let's just all fight against the other and see who wins. And then that person will get to have supremacy race over all the others. So it's a relentless free for all. And now we'll see who the winner is. Because who's truly gonna make reparations? Because truly all the Bosch nations have truly just crushed their people. Okay, so is it the continent of Africa doing it to them? Everybody's under subversion. But subversion means that you allowed it to happen. Right? There was a chink in armor, and it was just bow in. Somebody let him in. So who knew the easiest way in is directly through the home? And now that the parents are deceived, wow, it's just open gates, open floodway. And now it happened at a just flash rate. And now it's just ignited, flashed. And it's the catalyst, of course. And now this guy's apologizing, thinking he's being so logic.
It's probable that I inherited the legacy of the millions of white guys who had dominated the trades up until that point. I sometimes thought that black guys had a disadvantage there because black contractors were less common and therefore might not be as quickly accepted as competent. So even if it played out in the humble world of house painting, I have to admit that being a white male did carry.
So who knew that there was, there was boast in the destruction of the family? Because when you say, well, what family? Right? Because who knew that the whites were just useful idiots in America, and anyone else who followed the same doctrine of the destruction of the family, right, were the same fools that bought into it. But since the new world was so apparently what? There was all sorts of immigrants and people from, all parts of Europe and who knows where, all making some bash new life for themselves, right? And you say, well, yeah, but on the backs of the work of the slaves and the prisoners and this and that and this and that. All right, so if you believe that, then so what is reparations? How does one overcome that? Exactly, there's no overcoming that. Because who knew that those people are no longer with us? Both oppressor and the oppressed, supposedly, right? Same as what? Some, the Bash, are people supposed to lament the oppression of supposed the Aztec Empire and the Maya, like all the oppressive, civilizations, and all just everyone just it's almost like saying, okay, let's just forgive the world debt. But no, they won't say that. That's laughable, right? So in the same sense, how is some supposed learning of segregation and this and that, and you must now identify as this color and only this color, and this is what your worth is, and this and that and this. Who knew that that goes perfectly in alignment with the worship of the light? So if you become to be, murmured by it, who knew that it either you're affected by it in your void state of emotion, and you will just join whatever identity will give you refuge until until you feel that we just have to fight more because I want more. I'm not getting enough. Enough of what? Well, who knows, but you want more of it. You want your full piece of the pie that you deserve, right? Piece of the pie of what? Well, of the money and the stuff and the jobs and the stuff and the hierarchy, the ability, the opportunity to just rise like the phoenix from the ashes, right? So everybody's just begging for scraps and scraps and scraps of what? False promise. For you're still confused, relentlessly, like chicken with its head cut off, seeking to belong somewhere when all while you're rejecting your place as a child of God. For the life that you have, it was given, right? The Creator giveth life. For it's the true promise. Yet you say, I didn't ask to be born. Well, life was given to you, whether you like it or not. And now you say, well, I resent it, I hate it, and that's why I do as my will, and I just smash it and smash it and smash it. Get my fill, and then I'm dead, and then I'm happy. As long as I just had all the boasted experiences I could fill my gullet with. Wow. Amazing. And so what? Somehow you're going to mask it with some past relative sense of morality and, the golden rule. Well, I'll treat people how they treat me. Or don't treat people like I don't like to be treated, and all this bash, and just logic and reason, and that's how we'll survive and blast ourselves through the sun to our galactic family of the abyss.
Some privilege. It probably made it easier to get the work. It didn't make it any easier to do the work.
Oh, right. So what is the work? He's talking about labor, getting some bash, gig, some job where he got paid for. No. What is the work in the living, if not of the works of the highest principalities, right? The worship of the Creator in the flesh. And the works of that worship, wow, who knew that would be your life? But no, it couldn't be. I have to write my own life. I have to be my own maker. I have to reshape and just refurbish everything and renew it all. And hope my children have a better future than I did. Smashed.
Are there other walks of life where minorities and women have been less present and are therefore less trusted initially? Yes. But for the entire length of my working life, there has been an enormous effort made to overcome those stereotypes. As often as not, women and minorities are sent to the front of the line based on nothing but their color or gender. So where am I now?
Oh, so he's now saying no. So now there's privilege for the minorities because of their supposed minority.
Now I'm divorced amicably from that good woman. My kids are happy and healthy and seem fulfilled in their lives.
He's like, I had a midlife crisis, and I realized I'm going to go back to my old ways and get me some younger glove to just stuff and hopefully have other kids.
I live in a 25-year-old RV that I bought with a chunk of money my siblings and I got when our dad died. $10,000 that I did not earn in any way other than childhood privation. I spent every penny of it on the Hobo Dojo, and that has granted me more time off and less stress.
Hobo Dojo.
I'm permanently parked. I'm not roaming the streets. I make do with a few hundred square feet of room, and I'm grateful for it. I have long since stopped waiting for any sort of privilege beyond that which came from parents.
So people are going to boast and say, well, you chose to do that. Other people don't choose that life. They're forced into it, and this and that and this, right? So who knew that it doesn't matter. The victim will find ways to just always be the victim. Who knew?
Parents who saved their money and forced me to speak proper English. I fully acknowledge that as an advantage over those with parents who didn't do those things, whatever their color or gender. Full disclosure, I also have some money in an investment account from the sale of the family home, but I will need that just to survive as my Social Security payouts will be small and I have no pension coming.
Aw.
Again, that privilege comes from parents who saved their money in order to pass it on. A black guy with a city job or a female teacher will definitely be in better financial shape after retirement than I will. Not complaining, nobody's fault but my own. And now I have.
So it's my choice. I did it to myself, and so does everybody, no matter what the color. Is that your take-home message?
You guys, a bunch of people with all the same strengths and weaknesses that I have, and who are curious enough about other people to listen when I put my thoughts into words. I have a low level of YouTube celebrity. I've been recognized in public a few times, and I've scraped through this wet winter on savings and YouTube earnings. I'm now enjoying my last few weeks as a poorly paid writer of video essays, and then I'll have to get back onto the ladder and push my beat-up old body through another high season of painting work.
Oh, right, but you're just the relentless wordsmith poet, right? People are like, well, I recognize that guy. He's all right. He gives me blue-collar logic, right? Whatever, blue pill, right? Because what? Somehow, what? What is he saying? Nothing.
Unless you all buy a t-shirt, of course, or a CD. Is our modest success on YouTube due to white male privilege? You could ask Jason about that while he's doing his blue-collar job, and he'd probably just laugh. This may be the worst time in history to be a white male. Can you imagine how far we'd have gone with this if we were a couple of well-spoken black conservatives? We'd be touring with Candace Owens and having sit-downs with Dave Rubin. Instead, we have some cheap equipment in a garage and do what we can in our spare time. Couple of white dudes. Ho hum. It's a privilege that you listen to us. It's also cost us a lot in time, effort, and social censure. Still, we do appreciate it. And if it has more to do with our gender or race than I think it does, be sure to tell me about it in the comments. So, what is privilege?
Oh, Bash. So he said nothing. He's gonna ask you to comment on it, Bash.
Exactly. In my view, a privileged person has something that somebody else wants. Often it's money and connections. That's the classic country club privilege. But it may be good looks, talent, ambition, or a winning personality. If people see what you have and want to be around it, they will offer you whatever opportunities they have to give. If not, they probably won't.
Right. So who knew that they pick? Wow. They don't discriminate about who they pick to represent the worshippers of light. You have all sorts of Bash, shapes and sizes and colors of the shapeshifters, 1,000 points of light of the worshippers of light. Just bashing you. So everyone else is just out there receiving whatever they have to say to you about what it is that you're supposedly living. Pumping out, all sorts of just words and narratives and jokes and mainstream and just the pop culture out there to just that is a vicarious your life and you believe it, and so you go out there and bash it out day in day out because it's all you talk about. It's all this, it's that. Groundhog Day. Next, same thing. Next day, same thing. Next day, same thing. Just rehash of rehash all while you think you're living, but no, all while you're just repeating. Like this guy repeating the laborer's job, but whether he was a drug dealer, whatever it was that he was, or that you are, career, profession, this, I'm a student, this, I'm building my stock CV for my Bash future, and this. But who knew that eventually it'll turn its back on you like it did on the white man, or whatever, on the Aztecs, on the Arabs, on the Moroccans, on whatever, on the Europeans, on this, on that, on this, on that. Right? Every apparent shape-shifting aspect of what it is that you live has its turn to come and smash you with it. but only if you are just confused and do not see and still are listening to the words of man and how you should engage and how you should orient and how you should go about even trying to supposedly change things. All the while they promise you that you can change relentlessly. Wow. Into some bash split 1,000 personalities that you just bash every day and day out, which depending on whatever you call it is your mood. And this and that, no, but you're constantly suppressed, subverted, demoralized, devastated, depressed. And who knew that that is the source of the wedge of your oppression that you mallet relentlessly over your bash noggin that hasn't sutured yet? Or perhaps it has, but now you're just carving, splitting it open again. Because you want to stay forever young. So you just blast it, want to have that soft hole like the baby forever and blast in your head. Because that you literally are open-minded. Open-skulled and defiled. You're open-skulled, defiled. Wow, who knew? So you're picking sides. And you've been picking sides and shoving one another in them. All while boasting in your bash emotional states and this and that and this and this. And calling up for reparations. Reparations for all the wars and suppression. Because the white man couldn't help to kick all women in the face, kill all babies, and kill all apparent non-white men. Relentlessly since the beginning of time, yet somehow all the cultures still, all the colors, all women are still here, children. I mean, you say, well, of course, we're the survivors of all the horror of the bash white man patriarchy. Wow, you don't think that all nations were deceived to bash worship the light? It didn't discriminate against whether you were bash color or whatever bash color. You are deceived. Anything to just keep you from claiming and pursuing that refuge in truth of your true entitlement to that promise if you choose to just answer the call. Be filled with the Father's wisdom in your humbling repent. Draw near to the Lord, and the Lord draw nears to you. Who knew? Filling you with peace that the ways of the world don't. Because this guy, he's like, finally, I've gotten to a point where I believe myself somewhat worthy of the love that I think I'm receiving. Wow. Bashed. Right? So what's a apparent brown person thinking? Oh, they're thinking just like you. Oh, exactly. They're all just traumatized people. White, browns, you name it. The Japanese are killing themselves relentlessly. Hikikomori, isolation, this. They don't even want to relate with the other. And they're the same kind. So what is going on? It's a self-hatred based on your own self-deceit that you know you're wrong, but you won't admit it. And your soul, your inner innocence, what, right? What you think was, I lost my innocence. What are you talking about? It was hacked out of you, okay? It was exposed, bashed out of you. You were exposed, and then in your own shame, you're like, what? Are you gonna cry? And then you just were like, gulp. I guess not. I guess not. I will make you proud. Gulp. I just take the abuse, take the defilement. Learn the ways of the bash, bending the knee to authority, doing. But no, this guy was the rebel. He made his own way, right? But who knew that it doesn't matter what hierarchy or level of self and dues that will you choose, you are still licking the boot and kissing the ring of the bash distributors of the worshippers of the light. Right? And who knew that perhaps the greatest, the seed, the worm entered through perhaps what you say, the world wars, through Germany, deceiving, right, supposedly what a tyrant, no. It was a call, right, based on the esoteric preachings of the time in the late 1800s. They were going around the world, in the New World, and this and that, and all the, preaching about the esoteric, bashing teachings of the light, deceiving the nations, creating the ethos of those who would come and conspire to come and bring about the new era, the golden age, and this and that, and this and that, and this and that, and this and that, and who knew that they would come together to bring it about? No, it couldn't be. No, it's just a white. It's about white patriarchy. Yeah, that's what they want you to believe, and that's why you can't solve something that isn't real, because it's just pitting against you. Because fine, you're gonna kill the white man. Fine, kill him. Who knew that now the next one is in line, and who knew that who that will be? Right? Everybody's like biting their nails. Oh, who's next? Right? Because fine, kill the white man. Right? You say fine, we're gonna just eliminate and be the next tyrant. Wow, what a shame. What does that say about you? Or like, oh, well, at least they should just give up all their jobs and let anyone else but whites in. Right? What is that? Exactly, you're playing some sort of absolute judge of, authority of judgment. No, it's not for man. For that truly is what you think you have bestowed on man, and therefore dishing out relentless suffrage. Because truly it's not about man dishing out justice for man. And that the way we ritualize our behavior and call it life is truly abuse. But now we just see it as well, day in, day out. Somehow we just put up with it to make a dime, to put food on the table, and somehow get a box and call it a day. I live happily in 100 square feet of bash and this and that. My trailer's just parked forever, and I don't care. Now it's me and some other dude, and you call that white privilege? And he's like, "Paul, I scoff at you. Ha ha ha." But what is he talking about?
If you're watching this video, you are most likely alive in a free society at the safest time in all of human history.
Safest time? No. Any notion of safety has truly been the fantasy. So because you've been relentlessly abused, and in denial that abuse is being done by your own hand to yourself and others, because ultimately you're relentlessly in denial and beating the living life out of you, hacking at that lifeline that you just deny exists. All because you say, once I just hack the final blow, I'll be free. Free from the shackles of whatever bash oppression. Because who knew, it's the destruction of whatever bash you call religion. The destruction of the family, and just making everybody, just bashing everybody down to the same level, right? Bash people to think that these guys have some, bash, so we bash them down, and then any other bash person that will give us any scoff, we'll bash them too, and give them, reason to be bashed. Who knew that's what they do in war? Dehumanizing the enemy so that you can just blast him in the face and not even give a damn. Right? Apparently. That's what you do in war. So why are we out there dehumanizing, the other, some enemy? What is it? Isn't it not about loving your enemy? Loving your neighbor as thyself, right? Not worshiping thy neighbor, right? And whatever bash, false love you have to think you dish out. No. As yourself, and know thyself, not worship thyself. Know thyself, meaning know your place. Know your place. right? And either you accept it, right, and obey as a child of God, or you deny it and then go out and bash, identify with whatever it is you want and claim whatever narrative that the ways of the world would just gravitron you in and spin you and smash you against others, and all because you chose that identity. And fine, you can be called names because the narrative will become and call you all sorts of names and this and that and this and that, because it can't stand somebody that says, wow, that all that is bash. Because truly, the partakers of riding the teacup, ride, is to spin you and make you puke. To completely, to follow you all while you're thinking you're having tea with the queen. Being so sophisticated and logic and blah, blah, blah. No, it's just spinning you and making you vomit. But you go round and round a little teacup, wow, it's a vomit. It's like, well, you just haven't been enough accustomed to the spin. So once you do it a few times, you just learn from your mistakes. And now it's spinning, but you don't even give it down, right? So everybody's in spin motion. Everybody in their own little spiral, claiming victimhood to the 33rd degree because they're taught to identify as that and find your own little group and then cry relentlessly and beg to live. Beg to live for whatever parameters your little group is told it has, and this and that and this and that and this. And the other group, well, let's see, somehow they apologize and, make it public and this and that. And then next on the guillotine. Next on the guillotine, because we're dishing out judgment left and right. Wow, playing God here. Wow, amazing. And you have been for a while, creating all sorts of bash new life and this, that, and that opportunities. Some bash future, right? And your own legacy and your own ship that's blasting through the sun.
So whether you are living in a mansion on a hill or an old motorhome under a shade tree, you have more privilege than 99% of the people who ever lived. You have some talents. You have some handicaps. You can spend your time complaining about somebody else who seems to have more than you do, or you can figure out what you're good at and get busy making it into something undeniable.
Right, undeniable, and then worth the rewards of the world, who will just love you for it and just consume you in it and just demand it all from you, and you'll just be sucked dry, used up, and then spit out like the whore you were, because all you can make is a product and sell it. Like the little whore body that you are, and trying to fit and find some place in the ways of the world, all because you rejected your place in the living, because you knew that life was given to you, whether you asked to be born or not. You're here. Wow, hello. Anyone there? No, it's just hamburger meat and some bash chemicals blasting in my brain, and that's it. Oh, okay. See you later, right? And on they go, bashing, smashing, trying to find their niche, their passion, and blast their 10,000 hours of this and that and the other, and hope for the best. Hope that somebody will pay attention to them. And it's undeniable. Really? Because that's the whole purpose of life, to be here, to be undeniable. By who? Others? In their bash relative worship of truth and bash nothing? Wow. What a bash thing to say. What bash advice. That sounds like bash that Eckhart Tolle would say. Some bash power of now nonsense, a power of attraction nonsense, blasting through the sun. The relentless, mindfulness and bash and meditative state of being and no, what are you saying? Be still with the Lord and pray. Fast and pray, right? Be still with the Lord, not be still with just yourself and bash and say, go high and low. Whoa, in and out, in and out, in and out. Right? Because truly what man is void of is the word of God, because now he's just bashing in his own bash words, in his own narrative, in his own justification, and in his own scientific, esoteric proof of the light, and this and this and this and this and this and this. Squeaky, 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 squeaky. It's like floss going through his brash brain. What is going on? Divorce, of course, he had a crisis. Or his wife was like, man, what am I doing with you? You're some bash loser. Because now she's, of course, she's seen the light. She worships the light. She's like, oh, I could do better. Or it's like, what? Is he gay? And he's like, finally came out. Or what happened? Divorce. Ah, we just fell in love. Ah, this just didn't work out. You know, I'm just such a bag. I'm just a hack. And that's why he's just relentless. He's just half full, never full, somehow filled. Wow, who knew that she left him because he's void of truth? He has nothing to offer, void of any wisdom, because he denies the unconditional love of the Father. And through that denial, wow, who knew that he has zero love? And that woman was probably, void of love relentlessly. And that's why she eventually left you. No, 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 that's not it. We just love each other. We just want different things. Wow. Even worse. Just sad. Sad. Because, of course, you were both saying it was your choice. But yeah. Yet you don't see the justness in the only judgment that exists to be had in the one throne. He who sitteth on the one throne, the greater, but no, it has to be you. So you're just learning how to just live with yourself better and have more self-respect and this and that. No, there's no self-respect in a man engaging in the ways of the world in the sense of giving his life to it and hoping for the best. Wow. There's only boast in some attempt of reward. Because he's like, well, you focus on what you love, and hopefully you make something, that cannot be denied, undeniable. Because that's what the light promises. The worship of the light, Satan promises, right? That by honing your own craft and skill, right? How good of a little witch you are, you will be rewarded by the magic you will come to entertain us with. What are you going to entertain us with? What little product are you going to give us some sense of false hope? Amazing. Because everyone has truly forgotten what life is. Not that they have, we have, memory. We lost memory. No. You have forgotten what life is because what you think you're living is some bash counterfeit that feels so real, and you're just slammed left and right in the emotive state, all because you're void in some bash half truck. That's a cartoon.
First option will make you annoying and bitter. The second option will set you free.
The second option will set you free, which is what?
Or you can figure out what you're good at and get busy making it into something undeniable.
Oh, so that one will set you free.
The first.
So find what you love and let it kill you. And hopefully you'll be rewarded for it. Right? So what is it that people love? Well, it's relative. It's bash ways, and this is based on some bash, derivative of worship of a light. And who knew everyone wants recognition for it? They're all just out there couldn't be begging more for it. And you call that competition. And you call that healthy. And you call that the market and the free marketplace and free trade and this and that and this and that and this and that and this and coin and opportunity of stock and this and business and opportunity and growth. Yes. Relentless growth. Of what? Boast. Who knew that's it? That's it. So in this whole past video, you said nothing. Just a whole past rehash of some past sad story that anybody has, right? Really? And so, what wisdom, right? Because what not? What is it that any man could say to any other man that would actually, what? Do anything? Exactly. Nothing. For it's truly just a man will either answer the call or not. But we come across things in our life. Whether in the, we actually, hear something, but truly it's revealed, right? And it's in moments where you begin to realize that you're wrong, that no effort strong enough by man is strong enough to save man, let alone another. So that is just the beginning of the flaw of the worship that you hold, and that grabs a hold of you and is trolling you and sucking you dry. Instead of filling you with peace and certainty and knowing the true promise and your place in it. For surely it is not too late, for surely it calleth relentlessly. And what does one align to and surely wholly give themselves to in worship, in shelter, in truth, in asking for the Father's wisdom, so that you may endure the flesh, endure, the ways of the world, for they continue, as surely man's worship continues. So what is man in worship of? For you either continue to identify with the sufferings of the world and suffer and die, or you put yourself, you know that that's not your place. That is not your true inheritance. To just what? Just accept that somehow you have to choose sides within the suffrage and then hope for the best. Wow, what a shame. When the clear call is there, life that brings forth life relentlessly, but you deny it. All because you're just stuck in that loophole of Darwinian atoms, just the smallest thing. The femtometer just give life to everything somehow. Exactly. You believe, and that's your model. And somehow we're just here, just smashing, trying to figure it out, and we still haven't overcome our man's condition, and this and that, and this and this and this and that, but you still can't let go of the Bash worship that led you to even come to comprehend authority, to that give, authority or credibility to even that worship, the premise of that it is that you call life, and the story behind it, and what it is that you're here and doing, what you have exactly. It's all just a mystery. It could be this, could be that. Wow, zero certainty. So what is the works that you do? Right? What is it guided by? Right? In resolve of what? If not in the resolve of the creators, right? For surely is it not the resolve in the living to rid of doubt forever? And you say, well, doubt is good sometimes, because sometimes you should listen to doubt, because sometimes it's bad of what you're about to do. Wow, that is doubt. Because surely why does one engage in, right, something that is quote unquote bad if there was doubt to begin with? Certainty, right? And certainly a child is taught, right, the dynamics of truth, the way, the wisdom of the Father, the unconditional love that they have in the flesh. For it is the true promise, life everlasting with the Father. But no, you say no. You say no, no, no. My true promise is whatever purpose I give myself and how I go out there and crush it. Wow, amazing.
First option will make you annoying and bitter. The second option will set you free.
Oh.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video,
I'm just a regular Joe. Hear me out. I'm in the black circle of the abyss, the white and black. Right? They couldn't wait. The checkered bash brethren. Who even gives a bash if he's part of that? But whatever. Of course, just another little bash pocket worshiper of the light, blasting the message of do as thou wilt. Bash your own efforts, and that's truly the key to living. Somehow following some golden rule to the ring to rule them all. Bash, bash, bash. Relative bash, proxy, cherry picked. Proverbs from this esoteric reading, mystery school that's the teachings of Thoth and this and that in Egypt. Wow, the half bash animal, all the hybridizations of the world and the hundreds of myths of beasts that half man, half bash beast. Right? Water, land, bird, you name it, all of them. We're just all of them. But somehow, oh, it's the white man, or oh, it's the black man, and oh, it's the brown man, oh, it's the other color man, the red and black man, the taupe man, and the other purple man, and this and that, and the blue man, and this and that, and wow, who knew? And they're all just gonna come and smash me. What a shame. Is it not? Does it not come down to what a man worships? Yes, it does. And clearly, you have made your choice. You have made your choice to go out and sacrifice for a cause of trying to remedy some conflict of the races. And you must play the peacekeeper of what. They're doing it to themselves, right? Because who knew that they know deep inside that they are wrong, yet they're pushing because they feel self-righteous. In what? In what? Why aren't you saying, no, people, it's not about your color of skin or what? No. What certainty, right, in the wisdom of the Creator do you have? Because clearly, look around, there's no wisdom in the certainty you're given. For the certainty you're given is just what? A sense of security, a sense of passion, notion of freedom, of liberty, that you think you're always in relentless, position of losing and this and that, and somehow you just have to fight for your right to party, just like this guy, and fight for your right for whatever cause you're going to say. Right? Fight for the right of what? Nothing. You have life. The greatest gift that has been given to everyone on earth. But not all of them, what? Choose their place in life. They choose a position and a role and and a path and this and how they're gonna go and stumble. Amazing. Void, for they are worshippers of themselves. It's like the camera that's on. It's a body cam. They're the computer. They're the little computer, and they're just all. And then they have a camera, and they're just blah, blah, blah. I have a body cam on the camera that I am, because I believe myself to be a little computer, and I'm just recording everything. But I need to record it as well outside, right? And relentless photos of themselves and whatever, and everything's going fine, and everything's going fine, but no, right? For what? For what? For what? For what? You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know.